So, I may be roughly overgeneralizing here, but it seems to me that there's often a trigger problem that generates in your mind a great solution for when you come up with new companies. So, for example, when trying to negotiate with the Russians for launch capacity, the aha that we should just build a better rocket to solve this problem comes forth. Or when you deal with the commute on the 405 or whatever in LA, it's like, oh my God, what is wrong with mass transit and perhaps Hyperloop? And then, with a variety of ideas, there seems to be some trigger, something that's broken in the world and you have an idea of how to fix it. And I guess what I'm curious about is not how you've picked the areas of interest and the solutions, but how have you decided what not to fix? In other words, there's many things that need fixing in the world, and students here probably could think of a long list, many of which you could probably imagine solutions to using the physics first principle approach. But has there been any framework or idea you've used to filter out what you don't do, what you don't pursue?
Yeah, I mean, well, if sort of follow what I did initially was, you go back to like college times, I was working on energy storage technologies for electric vehicles. Mm-hmm. And that's what I was going to pursue at Stanford, actually, was work on like advanced capacitors and batteries to improve the energy density for electric vehicles. And then the internet was kind of happening. It was clear like the internet was happening like back in like 94, 95. And I wasn't sure if what I worked on in the PhD would actually be useful. So I was really concerned that if I...
Why? Timing, or what was your intuition?
Meaning, I think or it could be academically useful, but not practically useful. I think it could result in a PhD and adding some leaf to the tree of knowledge, but then discovering that, well, it's not really gonna matter. Like that's, is it going to be a good enough thing to actually be used in an electric vehicle? I wasn't sure. I mean, so it was like, I was uncertain as to whether success was one of the possible outcomes. Right. Like I thought maybe it was, but I wasn't sure. And then I thought, well, if I watch the internet get built while I'm doing this, that would be really frustrating.
So there's a sense of that eminent timing, that was the time for the internet, and maybe the other stuff could wait or be on the back burner of your mind. Was it always there as like one day I'll get back to that, or was it just like...
Yeah, I thought probably I'd get back to it, and did end up doing that. But I thought sort of the internet was happening, like really taking off, although most people weren't aware of it in '95, and so I figured like electric vehicle technology, energy storage technology, there'll be some sort of natural progression in that, and I could come back to it later. But the internet, was really, that was the moment to really do something. Although in '95 it wasn't obvious that you could actually make any money on the internet. This was like nobody, until Netscape went public, I think at the end of '95, nobody even thought there was like, you could make a valuable company on the internet.
It wasn't as obvious as it seems now.
Yeah, like now it seems really obvious, but back then it was not at all. So it was really from the perspective of, it wasn't like, oh, I want to make a bunch of money. It was actually it's like, oh, I want to just be a part of building this thing that I thought was like a nervous system. It was like, previously people had communicated effectively by osmosis. And, you'd have to like basically physically, connect with somebody to really communicate. You're like a letter. Like you'd send letters like that on paper. And with the internet, anyone who had a connection anywhere in the world would have access to all the world's information, just like sort of a nervous system so humanity was effectively becoming a superorganism, and qualitatively different than what it had been before. And so I wanted to be part of that. And but initially the goal was just to make enough money to pay the rent. It wasn't to do anything beyond that.
And then, as many know, that much of that capital then got plowed back into your next businesses.
Right, exactly. Exactly. So then then the internet's also helpful because it's anything to do with software is a low capital endeavor. So I didn't have any money. I just had a bunch of student debt, and but software you can just write like by yourself, and you don't need a lot of atoms. Like you don't need a lot of tooling and equipment and. So it's not capital intensive. So the ability to start a company if it's software related and it's the first company, is much, much easier.
Right, right.